everybody, and welcome back to the Campbell Street Oval. We are here to see day 2 of the G4 round 2 clash between Diamond Creek and Mill Park. Last week we saw day 1, Diamond Creek finished their 68 overs compulsory closure, scoring 8 for 330. And now we're going to be seeing Mill Park's response to that. And it's likely we're going to see one of two things. Either Mill Park put up an excellent batting performance and we've got a real run chase on our hands, or Diamond Creek are able to bowl out Mill Park, and then there is the attempt, or otherwise, of an outright victory. If they bowl out Mill Park early enough, they might go for an outright victory, but if it's later in the day, then they probably won't bother attempting it. And so we've got some interesting cricket to watch today. Because Diamond Creek scored such a large total, there's no way they'll bat again. So the fact that they were able to do such an excellent batting performance last week means that they are quite a distance in front of this game. And it's going to take a tremendous performance from Mill Park in response to be able to give this a really good contest. So the pressure is going to be on Mill Park, the momentum is all with Diamond Creek, and the question will be the clash between the Diamond Creek bowlers, who will be confident, who will have their tails up, who will be trying to be as aggressive as possible, and the Mill Park batting, which looks shaken, which looks confused, which looks under pressure and has to be really tested. So that is what we're faced with today. Diamond Creek are defending their score of 330. Like I said, they might go for an outright victory if they're able to bowl Mill Park out early enough in the day. Otherwise, we might see some interesting events this afternoon. Perhaps Mill Park are able to try to really give this total a fair shake, and we might see something very exciting coming towards the end of the day. Or it might take Diamond Creek a lot of hard work to actually get those 10 wickets, and it's just through the relentlessness of the Mill Park defensive batting that's able to keep this game going for an hour, or 2 hours and 3 hours. As far as the weather is concerned, today is not looking that different from what it was last week. It's still in the modest to cool range. Last week was about 16 degrees, and according to the Bureau of Meteorology, today will be about 21 degrees. And similar to last week, there is quite a lot of cloud. The entire sky is more or less covered in dark and bright grey. There's a little bit of blue popping up here and there in between the clouds, but it's mostly overcast conditions. Earlier this morning it was quite humid, but a strong southerly breeze about at 9 o'clock pushed the humidity away, and now it is quite a pleasant, coolish morning. And so certainly in terms of being able to field, in terms of being able to stay, to endure a long day in the field and be able to perform, this is very good for Diamond Creek. Not only is the weather not warm or not cold, it's actually very pleasant, but also the overcast conditions should be able to help them bowl swing. And also we haven't seen any rain more or less for the week. The only dampness has come from the normal morning dew, and so the grass is pretty much dry throughout the entire outfield, and so there's no reason why the ball won't stay new and swinging for a good long while. And so not only is the up above going to be helping the new ball bowlers for Diamond Creek, but down below at their feet there'll also be assistance there. And so all the factors at play say that this is going to be a very good day for Diamond Creek in the field. The Bureau of Meteorology did say that there was a good chance that there was going to be rain at some point this afternoon, but it wasn't going to be particularly heavy, just a couple of millimeters. So whether or not this actually affects the game is yet to be seen, but certainly there's no chance of the rain interfering with the actual play. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break now. You are watching the Diamond Creek versus Mill Park G4 Round 2 at the Campbell Street Oval. This is brought to you by Channel 8 in association with Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. We'll be back after this break. And what a shot. Excellent camera work there. Or slams.
And Mitchell unleashed there with the camera right. Difficult round the field on. The ball's going to run 40 left of it.
What an incredible shot by Red, and almost
Oh, that would have been. stumps all the way.
Welcome back. You are watching Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with our partners, Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. We are soon going to be watching day 2 of the G4 Round 2 clash between Diamond Creek and Mill Park. So now let's take a look at exactly what happened last week. Let's look at it in a bit more detail. So, Mill Park won the toss and elected to field, and it looked like it was going to be, it looked like it was a very good decision. So, they took early wickets. Kearney fell for 1, Evans for 4, Bellingham for 18, and Jones for 1. All of a sudden, Diamond Creek were 4 for 40 after 20 overs. And the ball was swinging around. It was very hard to hit the ball off the square. The bowlers for Mill Park were on top of their game, and it looked a real mess for Diamond Creek. Just to, defend the ball and stay in the game was difficult enough, and they found it really unsure of how exactly to score. Bellingham did score a couple of 4s and a 6, but then he threw his wicket away by hitting a pull shot in the air to square leg. But other than that, the other 3 that went out early more or less struggled to score. They only got 1s here and there, and their strike rates were around about 10 or less. So it was really difficult to score. Mill Park bowlers bowled really well. But then comes the partnership of Keenan Kerr and Callan Gleeson. So they, to give you a sense of what this partnership was like. So the score was 1 for 4 in the 4th, 2 for 27 in the 12th, 3 for 29 in the 14th, and then 4 for 40 in the 20th. And they didn't lose another wicket until the 51st over, when the 5th wicket fell at 233. So Keenan Carr and Callan Gleeson came together for a 193 run partnership from 30.2 overs, which comes to 186 balls. So it was more or less a run a ball throughout their entire partnership. And then, after Keenan Carr went out after he scored his century, we then had another big partnership between Callan Gleeson and Wilson, and that lasted for 76 runs of 72 balls. And so by the time the 6th wicket had fallen, the score was 309 in the 62nd over. So the entire game was transformed through those 2 partnerships. So Carr ended up on 100 of 112 balls. Gleeson scored 126 not out of 134 balls. And then Wilson scored his highest score of 47 from 43 balls. Unfortunately, the Diamond Creek lower order were unable to cash in on this opportunity, and so the score did not get up to a 350 score that it was looking at for a while, and instead it ended up at 330 with the tail unable to really cash in. But anyway, the damage was done through the Carr and Gleeson partnership. Now, to give you another sense of just how extraordinary this partnership was between Gleeson and Carr and then Wilson, let's take a look at the run rates throughout the course of the innings. So, after 5 overs, the run rate was 1.4. After 10, 2.4. After 15, 1.9. After 20, 2. Then after 25 overs, so that's when they came together at the end of the 20th over. Then after 25 overs, the run rate had jumped to 2.7, and then remarkably, after 30 overs, it had jumped to 3.7, and then 35 overs, 4.1, and then it stuck around that lows for a while. So after 40 overs, it was 4.1, 45, it was 4.2, and then there was another jump. So after 50 overs, it was 4.6, 55, it was 4.8, 60, it was 4.9, then 65, 4.9, and then after 68 overs, it fell to 4.8. So not only were Keenan Carr and Callan Gleeson and then Wilson able to score big runs, but they were able to score very fast, which pushed up the Diamond Creek run rate, and so it went from scoring about 2 runs an over to 4, and it meant that as they stayed in for longer, they continued to pile on the runs. And as you could see from that, the key period was in the last hour or so before, or maybe half an hour before the lunch break, before the halfway through the day, when the runs really started to flow. So that by the time the lunch break had happened, and then the second half of the day proceeded, the run rate was already at 4. So in terms of the real crunch moment, when the two sides collided and it was going to be, someone was going to come up on top and someone was going to be the loser, it was that period when Keenan Carr and Gleeson were able to score big runs off particularly the spinners, and then they boosted up the run rate up to that 4 zone, and really that took the wind out of the sails of Mill Park before the lunch break had happened, so that by the time the second half of the day happened, Mill Park was so far behind the game that they were just trying to figure out a way to break the partnership, trying to stay in the game, trying to hold on for dear life. And so the momentum switch had already happened by then, and so that was the key period, that period before the lunch break, the 45 an hour, half an hour period before lunch, was the period where Gleeson and Carr just really took to the charge and smashed the Mill Park bowlers around, and that's when the momentum had completely gone. So let's have a look at the Mill Park bowlers. So Sacco opened the bowling. He ended up with 5 overs, none for 12. The other opening bowler was Guerra. Now I think Guerra was the best of the bowlers for Mill Park. He has a change of pace. He has a very good consistent line and length. He can swing the ball, and he's very reliable. So he just all round, he was the best contributing of the Mill Park bowlers. He ended up bowling 14 overs, 2 for 50. And the other bowler that did significantly well was Duran, who was able to bowl 9 overs, 3 for 32. Now Duran was able to use the new ball particularly well, and he was very difficult to score with his left arm medium to slow balls. But then after Carr and Gleeson had got going and had momentum behind them and were playing their shots, Duran had no answer to this, and he more or less just was taken out of the attack for the rest of the day. He came back and he was just hit around, so he was taken out of the attack again, and it just became an incomplete story for him. Girardi bowled 6 overs, none for 24. He bowled fine. He didn't really move the ball. He wasn't able to hold the batsman to anything, and he was bowling, reasonably fast, but nothing amazing. Then probably the most impressive of the second line of bowlers was Harris, who bowled 10 overs, 1 for 59. He bowled very good pace, and he tried very hard, and he was able to bowl a full 10 overs, but by the end he had been torn to shreds, and his run rate of nearly 6 runs per over is really demonstrative of just how badly he was bashed around by Carr and Wilson and Gleeson. Rodino bowled 8 overs for 36. Girardi 3 overs for 15. Then the other two Harrises bowled. So M. Harris bowled 3 overs, was able to pick up one of the wickets, was able to get Keenan Carr, and so he ended up with 1 for 19 off his 3 overs. And then B. Harris switched from bowling medium paces to leg spin, ended up with 7 overs, 1 for 35. Again, he got bashed around quite badly by the end, and so conceding 5 runs and over was really not good for him. It kind of made sense because his medium paces were not able to hold back the batsman, and then it wasn't until he switched over to leg spin that he was actually able to bring about some half chances, and he was able to at least give the game a bit more of an extra dimension, and even though it was already too late by then. And the other two bowlers were Patel, who bowled 1 over for 14, and Moon, who bowled 2 overs for 19. So it was an unusual situation where all 11 players for Mill Park did have a bowl, some of them only for a couple of overs. But it's pretty clear that the best of the bowlers were Gawera and Duran, who took 5 wickets between them, and then the other 3 were taken by the 3 Harrises. So there you have it. Diamond Creek compulsory closure, 8 for 330. It was just a remarkable turnaround. The new ball bowling by Mill Park, getting 4 early wickets, keeping the score to barely 2 runs and over by the time the first drinks break had been taken, and then everything was turned around. It was just terrific batting from Carr and Gleeson and Wilson, which turned this game around. Nothing else. It was certainly, you could fault some of the Mill Park tactics and bowling decisions and bowling deliveries, certainly, but it came to the batsmanship of Carr and Gleeson to actually be in a position where you could score those runs, actually being able to hold back and not lose any more wickets and wait for the bad ball and push the one where it's there and try to get the fielder to step back and really pounce on the bad ball and make sure it gets punished for the full allotment. So that sort of batsmanship from Carr and Gleeson was what allowed the Mill Park mistakes to be fully capitalised on. If they hadn't been fully in their partnership, hadn't fully been aware of the situation, hadn't been fully watching the course of the game, then it's likely that those bad balls wouldn't have been capitalised on as much. Okay, so that's it. Diamond Creek were compulsory closure, 8 for 330, and we're going to be seeing the Mill Park response to that this afternoon. So let's take another break. You are watching the Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. This is round 2 of the G4, Diamond Creek versus Mill Park at the Campbell Street Oval. welcome back. We are here at the Campbell Street Oval to watch day 2 of round 2 of the G4 between Diamond Creek and Mill Park. Diamond Creek scored 8 for 330 compulsory closure, and we are going to be seeing Mill Park's response to that and the attempt to chase that down this afternoon. So, before we get to what exactly is going to be happening this afternoon, let's go back last week and look at the other 2 games that happened in the G4. So, first of all, we had Plenty versus Panton Hill at the Diamond Hills Reserve, and it was a very good day for Plenty as they won the toss and batted first and batted out their 68 overs for compulsory closure, 9 for 267. King scored 75, Ware scored 80, and then there were contributions by Robertson, Chowdhury and Berg, and then there were 30 extras. So 267 from 68 overs. Of the Panton Hill bowlers, Young took 2 for 53, Marasco took 2 for 15, Madiza took 2 for 41, and then there was 1 for Rogerson and 1 for Marasco. So 267 is quite a large total, very well batted by Plenty. It's going to take quite a batting performance by Mill Park to chase that down, and they would definitely consider themselves in a winning position coming into day 2 today. And so the other game was Hurstbridge versus the Research Eltham Collegians at the Hurstbridge East Oval, and Hurstbridge are in a very good position here. So Research Eltham Collegians won the toss and elected to bat first. They batted out their 68 overs, scoring 8 for 109 compulsory closure. The captain, McCormack, scored 41 not out, and then the other 2 players to make double figures were Hegan and Toffolo, and then there were 28 extras. So not very good run making from the Research Eltham Collegians. And amongst the Hurstbridge bowlers, it was remarkably tight bowling. So Ward 1 for 20 off 17, Holzer Ack 2 for 18 off 14, Berry 4 for 2 off 7, and then the other bowlers all bowled very tightly as well. Out one wicket for Joinson, so no bowler really being that expensive. The most expensive bowler was conceding 4 runs and over. So remarkable bowling from Hurstbridge to bowl an entire day and concede just over 100 runs. And if it hadn't have been for 17 no balls, they probably would have kept the Research Eltham Collegians to a score below 100. But as it is, 109 is the target, so they would definitely consider that a very gettable target. So let's not forget that Hurstbridge won the first game quite significantly against Diamond Creek. In fact, they won it by 100 runs, which is why they're currently at the top of the ladder. And so they are probably going to have a very big win today as they chase down that target. And so Hurstbridge are going to look a very, very good position, 2 very big wins to start the season off. So they're going to be in a very good position. They're probably going to be aiming at the top spot, maybe even a premiership favourites at this point, because 2 big wins definitely is nothing to sneeze at. So those are the other 2 games that are happening today. And so when the results come in this evening, we'll be able to have a look at what the ladder looks like after 2 games. It will be a real question over probably this game, the Diamond Creek Epping game, because if Diamond Creek are able to win outright, then they will move themselves higher up the ladder than they otherwise would, being just at 1-1. And so the pressure will be on Diamond Creek to take advantage of their good situation they're in right now and actually go for those extra points of an outright win. But anyway, that's what's happening right now around the grounds in the G4 grade. So it's time to take another break here. You are watching the Diamond Creek versus Mill Park round 2 of the G4 at the Campbell Street Oval. Diamond Creek scored 8 for 330 compulsory closure last week, and Epping are going to be chasing this down this afternoon. You are watching Channel 8 Local Sports Network in association with our partners Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. Let's take a break now, and when we come back, we've got more to discuss.
set it off the pads.
And welcome back. You're watching Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with our partners, of course. Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I am Chukka Wilson. We are here at the Campbell Street Oval to watch day 2 of the round 2 game in the G4 between Diamond Creek and Mill Park. So now we've come to the stage where we're going to be discussing what is likely going to be happening this afternoon. So let's start with the Diamond Creek bowlers. So let's go through their bowling attack. First of all, we've got Keenan Carr, who has taken 29 wickets at 23 with a best bowling of 4 for 24. Thomas Jones, who has taken 14 wickets at a bowling average of 32 with a best of 2 for 11. And then there are other bowlers. Gleeson has taken 74 wickets at 24, best 6 for 14. Damien Evans, 46 wickets at 25, best 4 for 67. Kearney, 57 wickets at 14, best bowling of 5 for 1. Ryan Whedon is a bit more inexperienced than the others. He's only played the 10 games, taken just the 2 wickets at 68, best of just 1 for 9. So no doubt his figures are going to be improved. Ashley Wilson, another one who's a bit less experienced than the other players in the Diamond Creek team. He's taken only 15 wickets at a bowling average of 47 with a best of 2 for 34. So those are the likely 7 bowlers for Diamond Creek who we're going to see through this afternoon, who are going to be the main assault in terms of trying to take Mill Park wickets and get a very big Diamond Creek victory. Now, the other big variable at play, the big variable at play is going to be the Mill Park batting, because some of these Mill Park players are quite inexperienced. They've only got 30 or 40 games under their belt, and so exactly whether or not they'll be able to really be able to stand up to the pressure, be able to take charge of this game, actually be able to stand up to the assault and be able to provide a really good run chase is yet to be seen, because there's just not enough data behind their names to tell us yay or nay of whether or not they have the capacity and willpower, determination, skill set needed to do something like this. So by a long distance, the best Mill Park batter is Damien Girardi, who has a batting average of 31 with a higher score of 45. Next is Blake Harris, who has a batting average of 23 with a high score of 52. Now, after that, we get into more iffy territory. So the other major players you would imagine who'd be trying to score most of the runs would be Antonio Guerra, who has a batting average of 10 with a higher score of 53. And then John Rodino, who has a batting average of 10 with a higher score of 25. Now, other than that, either the players have low batting averages, and so it's not clear that they're really the run makers in the team, or they haven't played that many games, and so it's just impossible to tell how good they are and how many runs they're really worth. So, for example, Silan Patel batted at 3 last week in the one-day game and so that was his first game, and so his batting average is just 7 for 7 runs at a high score of 7. And same with Dale Moon. Dale Moon opened the batting, 21 runs, high score 21, average of 21. So there's no way of knowing those two exactly how good they are. That will only be able to be determined with time. So that is my understanding of the Mill Park batting. There's a couple of top-notch players, Damien Girardi and Blake Harris, who have very high batting averages, who you would pencil down for scoring lots of runs today. But other than that, there's some good players, certainly Guerra, Sacco, Radino and Joel Harris are all definitely competent with the bat, and certainly will be able to defend the good ball on the stumps and be able to hit the bad ball for 4. But the question is, can they stay out there for 2 hours, 3 hours and score something really large? And that's some really difficult questions, because when you take a look at their higher scores, Guerra's highest score is 53, Blake Harris's highest score is 52, and those are the only 2 players in the team whose highest score is above a half century. And so no one in this Mill Park team has a century to their name. And so that I think is the real uncertain, unpleasant, difficult question. Just how deep is this Mill Park batting unit? How long can they bat for? How much can they take the attack to the Diamond Creek bowlers? How deep into this afternoon can they actually bring this run chase? Those are the questions that I'm not certain about, which is why I said that there is a good chance that we might see an attempt at an outright victory today, because as far as Mill Park's batting is concerned, there just isn't enough runs in the data to say that they could really have a good chase at this and they could actually get the 330 to win. Or they could even score 270 and have a very honourable and respectable defeat. So as far as the data is concerned, I just can't see how Mill Park are going to be able to chase this down. And so that's why I think if ever there was an opportunity to get an outright victory, it would be today. The fielding conditions, the weather conditions are excellent for Diamond Creek. Lovely temperature, lovely cloud cover, lovely outfield, and the numbers on the Diamond Creek bowlers are just there. Not only have they got plenty of wickets under their belts, they've got much more match experience. Most of the Diamond Creek players have played 50 or more games, and a couple of them have over 100 games. So a lot more match experience, a lot more wickets. The statistics in terms of averages looks a lot better for Diamond Creek. Everything is pointing towards a Diamond Creek bowling performance to defeat this Mill Park batting team. So the real responsibility, the real pressure, the real uncertainties are with Mill Park's batting response. And so I am open, of course, to being surprised. I would like to see Mill Park put up a real good fight. I would like to see Mill Park try to chase these runs down. I want to see a really good contest, don't get me wrong, but in terms of the statistics I have available to me, I just can't see a way that would happen. So I'm afraid I'm just going to have to say that in terms of what the numbers say, we should be looking at a very significant Diamond Creek victory by this afternoon. Okay, so let's take another break. You are watching the Channel 8 Local Sports Network in association with Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I am your commentator, the one, the only, the Chukka Wilson. We are soon to be watching the day 2 of round 2 in the G4 clash between Diamond Creek and Mill Park. Diamond Creek are 8 for 330 compulsory closure. Mill Park to respond to that this afternoon. So let's take a break, catch ya after the break, and we're going to soon be seeing some cricket. You are watching Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. We are here at the Campbell Street Oval to watch day 2 of the round 2 clash between Diamond Creek and Mill Park. Diamond Creek batted first last week and scored 8 for 330 compulsory closure, and now Mill Park today will be responding to that. Now, throughout this morning, it was very overcast, very dark, lots of very dark grey clouds, just tiny slivers of blue in the gaps, and there was quite a lot of humidity and a strong southerly breeze. And over the course of the last hour or so, we've seen a remarkable change to the weather. So the wind has more or less stopped. It's quite a still breeze right now. The trees are barely shaking at all. The sun has well and truly burst through, and it's now very, very sunny. It's so bright that you need to squint or wear sunglasses in order to see. And the clouds have broken apart, and now you can see in the sky there's just pieces of white cloud here and there all across the sky. Over in the distance there are larger patches of grey, but up above there is more or less just blue with tiny blobs of white cloud. So a dramatic change to the weather, and it's gotten slightly warmer, but it is still very pleasant. It is still very relaxing weather. It would be excellent to field in. Certainly it's not anything like we're going to see during the summer, when it's actually in the 30s, the degrees is actually in the 30s, and it actually becomes a very unpleasant thing to be in the field. This is just gorgeous, gorgeous spring weather, and it should be a delight for Diamond Creek to be in the field. So the pavilion is still closed. The players have yet to arrive, so we've still got a little bit to go before we get to see the beginning of today's play. So before then, let's go back to last season, another classic match, and this one happened here at the Campbell Street Oval in the late February and early March 2017. So this is last season, about 9 or 8 months ago, at this very same oval. And so, like we looked at last week with another game that happened here where team scored 250 and then Diamond Creek chased it down by scoring 260 with about an hour to play. Here is another situation that tells a bit of a story about how good of a batting track the Campbell Street Oval really is, so you can really get a gauge on just how big the 8 for 330 actually was. So this is Diamond Creek versus South Morang. Now, Diamond Creek won the toss and sent South Morang into bat, and South Morang were bowled out in the 68th over for 280. Woolcock got 87, Krell got 50, and then also contributions by Kay, who scored 34, Newton 23, and Maloney 17, with an enormous 37 extras, including 27 no balls. For the Diamond Creek bowling, Jory took 4 for 27, Stephen took 2 for 30, and then 1 for Oakley, 1 for Kearney, 1 for Michael, and 1 for Evans. So 280 for South Morang from basically their 68 overs. So in response, Diamond Creek got nowhere near it. They were bowled out in the 46th over for 155. There were 50 extras, 21 no balls, 14 wides, 12 byes and 3 leg byes, and 50 extras out of a score of 155, so just 100 runs off the bat. Kearney got 19, Stephen got 13, Jory got 16, Bellingham got 20. So it was not a good day for Diamond Creek with the bat. With the bowlers, for the South Morang bowlers, Philp got 2 for 4, Woolcock got 3 for 37, K got 2 for 18, and then 1 for Hoare, 1 for another K, and then 1 for another K. So all out for 155, Diamond Creek suffering a very large loss. So 2 very unusual scores there. 280 is something that Diamond Creek might have looked to be getting last week if their second partnership between Wilson and Gleeson didn't push it far beyond that. So there is something comparable there. But then to get bowled out for 155 in just 45.3 overs is a remarkably bad performance by Diamond Creek. But it just goes to show that just because it's a small ground, just because it's a fast outfield, doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to get a big score just because you've got a bat in hand. That there is still the opportunity to get bowled out for a small total if the bowling is good and if your batting is not up to task. So that is a classic game which happened last season here at this very same ground, featuring this very same team, Diamond Creek, although it was in the G3 grade, where we're currently in the G4 grade. So that's the difference, but you could definitely take what you want from that game. So the sun is still shining, the clouds are still up in the sky, it's still a very gorgeous shade of blue. Can't wait to see some cricket. This is going to be a wonderful, wonderful day, and I am just really excited. So we're going to take a break now, and when we come back, we're going to be seeing the players as they get onto the field and the day's play begins to emerge. So let's take a break now. You are watching the Channel 8 Local Sports Network in association with Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I am your host and commentator, Chukka Wilson, here to guide you through the day's action. We are watching G4 Round 2, Diamond Creek versus Mill Park at the Campbell Street Oval in the 2017-18 season, where it's time to take a break, and I will see you soon. Don't go away. There is cricket very soon. But welcome back. We are finally on the air. Sorry about that, everyone. We should have been on the air about 10 or 15 minutes ago, but there were some technical difficulties, which means we only are now just on the air. Technical difficulties were not ours, someone else's. That's okay. We're here. And in case you didn't join us for the pre-morning show, this is Channel 8, the local sports network. I am Chukka Wilson, your host and commentator, and we are about to witness day 2 of the G4 clash between Diamond Creek and Mill Park. As you can see, the Mill Park batsmen are just coming out. As you can see, the captain of the Diamond Creek team, Jackson Bellingham, just addressing his team, giving the last word instructions before this play begins. Just have to think, what could they be talking about? Because it's a big day today. The difference is, of course, between a victory and an outright victory, or maybe even a loss if things don't go right. So has to get things in order, has to make sure that his bowlers do the right things, he's got the right fields, he's got the plans, so that everything works in order. Because if things work in order, you expect a Diamond Creek victory, because Diamond Creek bowling is superior to the Mill Park batting. So let's just see what happens. Everyone is now getting into their field. Bellingham just addressing everyone to go into their fielding positions. So let's see what we're going to see as the start. Okay, so it appears that they're going to start bowling at the pavilion end. Let's see who gets the ball. So, everything is getting in order. The umpire's taken his position. Alright, let's take a break, and when we get back, we'll have ball 1.